This is so massively important and needlessly avoided by so many people because they feel like they can't go to a function because I can't eat anything. There's nothing there. Sacrifice. Okay? The reason you're doing that is because you don't understand food, you don't understand macros, you're not on a controlled diet, and you have a negative relationship with food because you don't understand it. Yep. Still there. Yeah. Yeah, nope, not gone anywhere. Staying on track. Now, everybody who goes into a diet phase seems to obsess over having to be perfect all the time, and the fact that if they do something wrong, it's going to reverse everything that they've done so far. Now, I'm here to tell you that is not true. Even if you start out with the wrong targets and don't lose weight in your first week, it doesn't matter. What it lets you know is the targets are wrong, and then you adjust a little bit until you see that weight loss. What you don't do is adjust drastically because that removes control. Everything about gaining or dieting, everything about a controlled diet is maintaining the variables. So that means knowing what you've changed and knowing if there's an effect from it. If you're dropping weight too quickly, you need to bring food back up. If you're not dropping weight, then you can start adjusting either your activity levels up, so you increase your calorie output, or bring your food down. Now, you don't want to do both at the same time because then you don't know which one's working. And number two, the reason you don't want to do it, I didn't say number one, but that was number one. Number two, you don't want to use all the tricks in your bag in one go. You want to just increment in changes one at a time so that you're giving your body the chance to react to a singular change rather than getting one reaction from two changes. You get a reaction for a single change. One reaction, one change. If that carries on as time goes on, you will be able to maintain that consistent weight loss or maintain that consistent weight gain over time as you see fit. You want to make small adjustments all the time to see a solid, small, significant gain either in fat loss or muscular weight, lean mass. But we're talking about the fat loss. My advice to you, the way I do it, is I up my activity levels well before pulling any food. Why? It's simply this. The more food that you can take in, the more nutrients you're bringing into the body, and the more micronutrients that you are bringing into the body, the less you're going to have to supplement in to bolster those micronutrients, and the less hungry you're going to be if you can eat more food. The less hungry you are, the better you're going to feel. The better you feel, the more likely you're going to be to stick to your diet and succeed. You start out with the macros that you devised that are set for your body, your weight at the current time. You will get a water rebalance because carbohydrates bring water into the body. So dropping your carbohydrates will drop water held within the body. Makes sense, doesn't it? You want to allow for that adjustment period. So in the first couple of weeks, you want to see weight loss, no real more than 4 pounds a week. But after the second week, going into that third and fourth week, you don't want to be seeing that kind of weight loss. You want to be seeing more like 2 pounds. If you're dropping more than that by the third and fourth week stage, there is a very high chance that you're just chewing through muscle. And that's not what you want. So bring down the activity or up the food a little bit. Choice is yours. Talking about that 2 pound weight loss, that's what I would aim for week to week up to around the 8 to 10 week mark. Maybe even a little bit earlier if I was already relatively lean starting out. Why? Because weight loss is not linear. You don't just drop weight like this. It curves. This is your weight loss here. So you might start out dropping quite a lot, but when you get deeper and deeper and deeper into the diet, that weight loss is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. That doesn't mean you're losing at a slower rate, but what happens is obviously your body weight is coming down. So the weight loss percentage wise from body weight to the weight loss is probably going to stay relatively similar, but because your body weight is coming down, the amount of weight you're losing will also come down incrementally. It's absolutely fine to go from 2 pound weight loss down to 1 pound weight loss, and then when you're in a real deep depths of the diet, like over the 16 week mark, half a pound a week, as long as it's a solid half a pound each time, that's still okay as long as you're seeing the changes in the mirror as well. And we're talking about being very lean by that stage. We're talking like single digit body fats as you get to those stages towards kind of competition style. This can be very confusing if you try and take it all in at one time, but just break things down, take each section of this video bit by bit, make some notes, jot things down to remind yourself of certain rules, and it will go way easier. Meals and meal timings. One of the biggest myths is that you need to eat 6 meals a day or you'll go catabolic. Miss 1 and your world is over. Miss 2 and you may as well quit and start something like badminton for girls. No, it's nonsense. Okay, eating 6 meals a day is by no means going to do you any harm as long as you're hitting your targets through those 6 meals. Absolutely, if you want to do it, you can eat 10 a day. It's not going to do you harm. But what it also isn't is a necessity. You could eat 4 meals a day. If you hit the same targets over 4 meals as you were hitting over 6, it makes no difference. Meal timings in the long-term goal section don't matter. Day to day, meal timings will make a difference in the way you look in the mirror. But as the end result of losing fat over 10, 12, 16, 20 weeks, meal timings don't matter. Your body will take in what it's given and use it as it's given to it. It's smarter than you are. So don't worry about eating every 2 hours. Don't worry about missing a meal. You can eat when you get the chance to eat. You can make up macros when you get the chance to do so. Your main #1 goal is to hit your calories in the target breakdown that you've created. That's it. Anything above and beyond that it will benefit you. It's not going to do you any harm, but it's also not a necessity. So as a rule, what I tend to do is eat 3 to 4 big meals a day and then create the rest of my targets within snacks and other enjoyable little things. Sometimes I'll just have 3 huge meals and a lot of little things through the day. These are all done to how I feel that day, how my day is laid out, and what is easiest for me to do. Sometimes I may not eat after breakfast for 5 hours. And all that means is I have a shitload of macros to play with later on in the day. Okay? I haven't eaten for, I don't know, about 3.5 to 4 hours now because we've been doing this and making notes. And, yep, still there. Yeah, nope, not gone anywhere. That's science. What you need to understand about things like getting waterlogged or overindulging in food and things like that and waking up the next day and looking in the mirror and looking soft and not looking good, it's not permanent. You have not gained fat in a single evening. Just like you can't grow muscle in a day, you can't gain a load of fat in a day. Now, yes, admittedly, you can gain fat quicker over a period of time than you can the same amount of muscle, but it still takes time and consistent fuck-ups to do so. It's an acute reaction. It's not a long-lasting reaction. The loading, the softness, the bloating, it's not permanent, so don't worry about it. You have not gone backwards if you take one day where you blow out every couple of weeks, okay? I'm not saying do that. I would stay controlled and have high-carb controlled days if you can, but if you need to go to a party and have fun with friends, fuck the diet, you know? Be controlled as much as you can there, but enjoy yourself. But also pre-plan for things. This will help you have a social life. We're gonna cover that next. So what I want you to understand is it's an acute reaction. It doesn't last. You will get back to normal. You've not gone backwards. All you've done is probably just kept your body stationary for a couple of days until it recalibrates. So as we're talking about the water weight, I want to cover that just quickly here. You'll get a lot of people who are a little touch high in body fat, and all you'll ever hear is, yeah, it's carrying a little bit of water weight here. Look, water weight is like when you're here and you see how the skin there is like super thin. Water weight would be if this level of leanness suddenly went a little bit blurry, okay? That would be holding water. And it's also something that would drop off after 24 hours once you rebalanced your water intake and brought your food onto a level, all right? Holding water doesn't last for 10 years. You're not holding water, you fat. Holding water, it can occur from a couple of scenarios. It can happen when you have a high day of carbohydrate intake, if you have an uncontrolled day where you're taking in a lot of sodium, a lot of carbs, a lot of fats. Mainly if you're just overindulging and you're taking in more carbohydrates than your body can store within the muscle. Obviously then that carbohydrate spills out into the subcutaneous, which is the layer between the muscle and the skin, and the water that is required to hold the carbohydrate then sits in between, outside the muscle, under the skin, causing you to hold a bit of water. Having a social life. This is so massively important and needlessly avoided by so many people because they feel like they can't go to a function because I can't eat anything. There's nothing there. I can do. So, you know, sacrifice. Fuck off, okay? The reason you're doing that is because you don't understand food, you don't understand macros, you're not on a controlled diet, and you have a negative relationship with food because you don't understand it. Never, ever, ever pass up a family gathering, someone's birthday, a celebration, something that unites you with other people because you're on a diet and can't go out the house. What you can do is pre-plan for things. So you can bank macros effectively. If you know you're going out that evening, prepare for it. Eat super lean, super low carb and super low fat through the day up to the party. Then when you go to the party, the event or the meal, have, you know, indulge, have what you want, because one, you've got those macros to spare because you didn't have them earlier on in the day, and two, you're able to have a look at the food that's going to come out of there, and because you'll have been counting macros and looking at portion sizes, you'll have a good rough idea of what's coming in, and you can enjoy yourself while staying controlled and also be happy knowing that you have the spare macros and calories anyway. So even if you indulge a bit while you're there, most of that indulgence is actually going to be needed macros, and anything that you go over is one, going to be controlled, but two, again, is only going to have an acute reaction for the next day. It's not going to reduce everything you've done that week to zero and put you back 3-4 weeks. It just doesn't work like that, okay? This is my main plea with you guys, is to understand that you can have a life and get shredded. I've said it before, shredded with a life. It's possible, it's completely doable. And the longer that you study macros and food and portion sizes, the happier you are and the easier it is for you to just go out to a restaurant, see something on your plate and be able to log it and judge roughly what it is, which leaves you feeling content in the knowledge that you know what's going into your body. So if you do overindulge, you can deal with it the next day in a sane manner. So you stay positively healthy, mentally. Make sense? The man in the mirror. This is the killer of a lot of people's dreams, and it is over-analyzation of your body in the mirror every day. You should not be looking at yourself 2, 3, 4 times a day in the mirror trying to analyze what needs to be, oh, I need to bit from here, that needs to go. If you do that every day, you will get mirror blindness. You will no longer be able to see your body for what it is and how much progression it's making. Because you're looking at yourself so frequently, you're not going to see the impact of the changes you're making. So your best bet here is to look at yourself when you're in the gym, okay? Because this is when your body's at its kind of optimal state. It's when, oh, this fucking chair. There's blood flowing through, so the muscle's full, it's tight. Everything is dilated, everything is open. Your vascularity is going to be improved. The muscles are going to be drawing in sugars as you're working into the muscle. It's going to be pulling in water to the muscle. So it's going to make you look, I don't want to use the term dry because it's completely wrong. It's not drying out. It's simply looking full, okay? And what that does is it presses the muscle harder against the skin. So when you're not full, the muscle sits around the skin like this. And when the muscle fills out, it pushes against the skin, which pulls it nice and tight over the muscle, which makes it look better. If you look at yourself at this stage and analyze yourself, that's fine, because this is where you're at your optimal. This is what you really look like. Not when you wake up in the morning dehydrated, like hard groggy, not stretched out, no blood flowing. Of course, you're not going to look your best then. Overanalyzation of yourself and being hypercritical is only going to hinder you, and it'll also stop you from seeing the results you are achieving. And if you know your macros are right, if you're putting in the time, if you're putting in the cardio and the training, you will move forward. If you're not moving forward, it's a simple fact that there is an error somewhere that needs correcting. That takes me on to the next topic. Don't lie to yourself. You hear so many times people saying, I've tried every diet under the sun. Oh, nothing works for me. I'm an anomaly. Really? You're a scientific anomaly to the calories in, calories out rule of life? Really? Really? No, you're not. What you've not done is committed to anything with knowledge and given it the time that it's required, or put in the effort that is required. So stop trying to make excuses. If something's not right, fuck the excuses, find the error. That is what will keep you moving forward. That is what will make you better than average, and that is what will keep you moving towards your goal, achieving it, and firing on to the next one. So being critical has its place, but in terms of what am I doing wrong, let's find it and let's fix it. Don't be critical in terms of blaming something else. Well, that's not working because, oh, I couldn't do that because. We all have those fucking excuses. I'm being honest with you now, I haven't been to the gym this week because I felt shit. I felt lethargic, I felt unenergetic, I didn't want to record videos. I don't know, we all have those days. It was 3 days of me feeling just fucking down. It was probably because the weather was shit, I couldn't go outside, I couldn't do anything. I've had to reschedule the next filming of the dedicated series, like the edit things, because videographer got taken away on job work. So for 2 weeks I was kind of like, what am I gonna do now? You know, these stresses occur and it's absolutely fine. Everybody gets stressed and everybody feels down. It is completely and utterly normal. Take a few days, fucking set yourself out, realign yourself with what you need to do, and then get back to it. I would much rather you take a day, reassess, get the whinges out, and then fucking suck it up and move on. So from tomorrow, I'm back to it. Well, from now, I'm back to it. I'm recording, I have goals, I have things written down as to what I'm doing and when, the videos I'm making for you guys, and I'm back on track. So don't worry, everybody has the down times. Just make sure that you don't envelop yourself in it. Sit there, acknowledge that you're just having a shitty day, and get it over with. And set yourself the goal to wake up the next morning with a fucking bright, smiley attitude and a different outlook on the world. Because that is all it takes. You have the power to change what goes on in here. You just have to realize when you're in a slump that you are in that slump. Acknowledge it, own it, and move on. Motivation and how to keep it. My biggest piece of advice that I could give is to have more than just one outlet for your goal set. What I mean by that is, don't just have the gym, because after 15 weeks of going in and doing the same routines and the same cardio on the same treadmill with the same machines, any human being in this world will be fucking fed up. And the chances are you're gonna have days where you think, fuck the gym, I do not want to go. And it's at that point that you need other outlets. So especially when we're on a fat lifestyle, especially when we're on a fat loss diet, all we're really concerned about in the total of the day is stimulus, output. We don't have to always be lifting a weight. So for me, the MMA has been another outlet. So I can do a day of gym and a day of MMA. The calories out is all that really matters in terms of me burning fat. Now obviously stimulation of the muscle is important. Now MMA gives me that because I'm doing circuit training, I'm doing explosive work, and I'm being forced to be dynamic. The gym also stimulates the muscle in a more direct approach, but less functional than the MMA. Now if you didn't want to do something like boxing, MMA, or you can just go in and do bag work, you could have something else. Maybe it's cycling, maybe it's running, maybe it's swimming. Whatever it is, as long as it's an athletic activity that makes you burn calories, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to lose fat, what really matters is that we just get the calories out. Don't just rely on the gym. Have other fun things that you like to do. This also ties in with staying social with friends. So it could be five-a-side, football training, it could be tennis, badminton, cricket, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying. Involve yourself with other people. Just as a side note, if you want to do something and you've never tried it, like say for me, the MMA, I was talking about this the other day with Joe, who you saw in the previous video. When you go into that room, because you wanted to try MMA, everyone else in that room also wanted to try MMA at one point. They're either just starting like you or they've been doing it for a while. But what that means is that there's a connection there already between you and the other people in that room. And this is how you can bring new people into your life, and you may meet people there that you may not have otherwise met because your paths wouldn't have crossed. So try new things. Don't worry that just because you're not in the gym that you're gonna start losing muscle. Remember, it's the nutrition that supports the muscle that you've already created. We're showing what you've already created, and the food will support that. If you've structured your macros correctly, then you're supporting that muscle mass regardless. So there we are, my friends. I hope that has covered the major points. If I've forgotten something, which I probably have, you can hit me up in the comments section below. That is all for now. I hope it's helped. Again, questions in the comments section below. If you're on a mobile phone, make sure that you hit the ding-a-ling bell and subscribe down there to stay notified, because some of you were telling me that YouTube unsubbed you and you didn't know about it. Fuck you, YouTube. We'll fight you back. by hitting the ding-a-ling and hitting the subscribe. That's all for now. Thanks for watching a Simple Truth video. Lex, out.